We've done some good business so far. I think the squad is in a really strong position going into the season. Hopefully with a couple more additions maybe between now and then. I think when I first came in, it takes a lot of time to try and turn around not just the mentality of a club, but the shape of the squad. And you can't do it in one transfer window, so we've been slowly looking at what type of profile of player we need to bring in, how we need to do it, and how that affects the dynamic of the changing room and what's needed at the time as well, and also what you've got to spend. I think it's been highlighted over the past year or two that we've had to adhere to certain rules, which we have, which has been difficult. We've managed to pay for a number of players in this transfer window. We've managed to make some astute signings, especially on loan, with the likes of Ash coming back and Divine coming in. And Aaron on a free, so I think we're in a really good position with it, and I feel like the profile of player, the dynamic of the group, that real togetherness we're trying to build, not just players but staff as well. There's been a lot of changes behind the scenes over the past 12 to 18 months, so we feel we've got that real good feel in the building, and hopefully that'll show on the pitch come the first game of the season, going into the rest of the season. I think if you look at the Championship, or you look at the Stoke when I played here, was physically able, athletic players that had a real presence about them. And I think if you look at the players that have come in the summer, we've got a good mixture of experience, but players that'll add to that quality and are robust and athletic in there as well. So I think you need a mixture of everything to compete in the Championship, and not just compete, but really thrive in the Championship. And you need strength and depth in every position, because there were times last year when we were thin and we had a lot of injuries, which didn't help. I think if you look at the team now, I think we've got most players covered. We're going to need every one of them during this course of the season. The standards are getting higher and higher every single day that we're here. If you ask any player in that changing room, they're a really, really tight group of players. So it makes players feel settled straight away, allows them to perform. And then you look at the facilities we have here, and everyone's commented on it since they've signed. It's a Premier League standard. Over my shoulder we've got new first team building that'll be ready halfway through this season. An owner like John Coates that wants to further the expansion of the training ground, the stadium, everything that we're doing is to be where we want to be. So players come in, feel that, and we want them to be a part of it. Exar's been on the radar for a long while, been on the radar of a number of clubs, and obviously went on loan last year to Liga. It wasn't an easy one to get in, but we did a lot of work and we managed to get him in early. And I think it was key to get him in before you played those 2 international games where he got man of the match against Belgium, because I think it would have been a lot more difficult to bring him in. But yeah, he's a character that really wants to push and be a player in the Premier League. And we talked about profile before, it's hungry players as well, and players that want to be here. That's huge to what we're trying to build with a football club. We want players that want to play for this club. I think we've seen in pre-season so far he'll bring something different to the team. He's a very direct winger, and his set piece delivery and his delivery in hole and goals and assists will be key to us this season. I think Stoke as a team, we're built on wingers. It's something that we probably haven't had so much in the past few years, out and out wingers. So Sorba can play on the left or right. Adds to that, this club wants to see balls in the box, good delivery, good strikers on the end of them. So hopefully, as I said, the players we bring in can produce that. But yeah, it's a huge part of football, and set pieces decide World Cup finals, European Championship finals. So don't underestimate how important they are to a football team. And we're no different, and to have so many quality takers in the team, it can be nothing but a bonus for us. Maxi is a presence in himself. We saw from the 6 months he was at Plymouth and the FA Cup they went on, playing against the teams he did, and the qualities he produced in those games. He wears his heart on his sleeve out there on the pitch. He really goes well with what we are as a football club, and I think, I said, another one as the season goes on, you'll see more and more of him, of what he can bring on the pitch. Yeah, he's a very passionate, vocal leader out there, and again, another one that wants to play in the Premier League. I said it to him the other day, his movement's one of the best for me, young centre forward I've seen in this country for a long time. I watch a lot of Premier League football, as we all do, and Championship football, and yeah, his movement's second to none. And there was times in pre-season where his movement's caught the linesman out a few times. We've seen on the clips back he's been onside a few times, one-on-one on goal. He's a great lad, first and foremost. He works his socks off. We'll see that from him. His movement's very good. And that's had some goals, but his goal-scoring record through the youth teams and where he's been involved has always been very good. So we know he can finish. To have him in so early in pre-season, have him working with Mark and the coaches, is brilliant, and to settle him in the group. And again, another player that was very hungry to come here, and he's got a point to prove. You know, he went to Manchester City from West Ham. You know, he knows the long-standing interest we had in him, and hopefully he can produce some goals for us. Yeah, we want Aaron to push Eric as much as he can in the left-back position. We want every player that comes in to do that and want to start, and Aaron's no different than anyone we bring in. But he adds that Premier League quality, and I think the players have seen that out there on the pitch. His delivery, his passing, his mentality, how he treats himself. You don't get to be his age and still have his fitness and still have his quality if you don't look after yourself properly. So it's a testament to him, but it's for all of those players to see. And within day one, day two, he's comfortable and settled into the environment. He said he feels like he's been here years, and he's just part of the furniture now with us, and he's a real leader in that dressing room. And said everyone we want to bring in, it's getting the dynamics right in the dressing room, and having that core of players that really push everyone on as well. And any successful team has it, and any time there's been success at this club, it's been built on what the staff and what the players feel like at the training ground. You don't get 600 games and managers trust you if you're not a great pro. You have serious quality in your game, and I think we've seen it down a number of years. His delivery is ridiculous on that left-hand side. Set pieces, free kicks, crossing from open play. To play left-back in the Premier League for so long, you're coming up against some seriously tricky wingers, some of the best players in the world, and he's done that for so many years. So we think he can produce that now for us. When he played a number of games for West Ham last year, and the fact circumstance meant we were able to bring him in as a free transfer here, and another one really hungry to come to this club and help us. Aaron will play at the times this year, Eric will play, but as long as they're pushing each other, as they're both fit and both producing quality, we'll be happy. So back in January, I think it was widely reported that we turned down an offer for Valer just because the timing of it left us very late in the window to try and replace him, and he's an important member of our team. But at the time, it was the openness and knowing what it feels like to be a player in that position, speaking to Valer and explaining to him the situation. I think players always prefer if you're upfront and honest with them, and have that open communication rather than cloak and dagger. Going into the summer window and Valer still wanting to pursue a new opportunity, it's very hard as a club to convince a player when they want to do that, whether it be personal circumstance or ambition. And that was the case with Valer, so we needed to make sure we got the best deal possible for the football club, which I felt we did, which helps us in other areas of the club. And you know, he's a player that we wish very well, and it's time to move on and get the next midfielder that we can really develop. It was a big one for us. I didn't think we really had a chance with them at the end of last season and the beginning of the off-season. Thought he'd go to Premier League, to be honest, and there was European clubs circling for him. I think the fans played a big part in him coming back here because of how loved he felt, but he really grew into that leadership position during the course of the season. And as a 19-year-old he was at the time, to have that on your shoulders and then produce a performance as he did, it was outstanding for us. So I think also the changing room and the group of players and how he enjoyed himself here last year and how we felt we really developed him, and goes to the coaches, and I think he's mentioned Ryan Shawcross in particular, the work he's put in with him to really develop him as a player. And I don't think you'd have anyone better than someone like Ryan, who's played so many games in the Premier League, to learn from. So he was one that was wanted to come back just as much as we wanted him, so we were delighted to make the deal happen and bring him back. And we kept that one quiet till the last minute, and yeah, a great surprise for everyone, but he's very focused and driven of where he wants to go. And hopefully he can help us get there and meet his own ambitions as well. But yeah, future superstar, I think, in English football. Robert's another one we've been chasing for a while, and a lot of work went into him because it wasn't an easy situation with his football club at the time, Boavista. Over a couple of years, a number of moves have fallen through at the very, very last minute. After the deal has been agreed, medical's been done just through his club at the time. And we're talking top European clubs as well. So I think us just being there and presenting to Robert and speaking to him over a number of months and with his agents of how we want him at this football club and how we can see him developing with us and meeting his ambition to play in the top league as well. So he was a tricky one, but one we managed to get done, and I think sneak ahead of a few other clubs, because I think a few clubs are waiting for him to be a free transfer. I'm waiting in the wings, and we managed to sneak in there. So another one that we invested in a transfer fee, and hopefully he can come here and show us what it's all about, because he's a player that's played over 50 times for his country. You don't get to do that without a lot of quality and that drive and ambition, but I think he really suits Stoke City. The fans will see that way he's on the pitch, how hard he works for the team and as selfless he is. And I said hopefully he can develop, and one of the big things was coming here and working with other coaches, and a manager like Marko that's worked with some good strikers over the past number of years, one that's just moved recently to a Premier League club. And people see that as well and want to develop here and grow, and I said our aim is to get there, and someone like Robert can hopefully get us there. Kudos to the recruitment team as well, because they work their socks off in everything they do, and a number of us have been here since the season finished, day in, day out, working on a number of targets, and it's not as simple sometimes it sounds, but a lot of work went in, so a lot of reports on players, finding out about not just how they play, but the character, the background, the families, all that. There's a lot of work that goes in. So yeah, it's not just myself or the coaches or just the recruitment team. There's a whole host of people at the football club that put a lot of work into, not just Robert, but a lot of signing. So yeah, it's kudos to every single person that makes these things happen. Sometimes you've got to take the players' thoughts into account. Sometimes people want to pursue opportunities, and it's a big club that competes in the Champions League, and sometimes it's very difficult to stand in the players' way for that. The financial rules weren't as they are. You more than likely look out to keep hold of Saul and develop him here, and maybe use a loan market to do so if he's not getting in the team here. So the way the system's set up at the moment, it makes the weight of homegrown players benefit the club in certain ways, which is not what the owner really wants. It's not what we want as a football club. We put a lot of money into the academy and develop players for them to play here. But as is the case with a number of teams you've seen over the past few years, this happens. And we wish Saul the very best of luck here. And we've got a very close bond with Saul. I've known him since a very young boy. Played with his dad, and his dad works at the football club. We've got a close bond with the Sidibe family, so we wish him the very best of luck as new club. But it helps us build a squad. It helps us, when I came in, I told you it wasn't about one transfer window. It's about numerous ones, and helping to build, to shape the squad. And sales of players like Valer and Saul help do that. And hopefully we can help build the squad stronger as we compete this season, and help us get our strength in depth in other areas, but also find the next one out there. And I think that's what Ian and the recruitment team, that's love to do as their job, to find the next gem, to find the next player that can come in and really develop under the coaches. Yeah, I think we've got 6 in so far. I think the squad's in a really strong position. I think if you look at the numbers, we've covered most positions twice, and not them all, but most positions twice. It's important to have versatile players as well. It's right to add that bit of quality in where we can, and find the right player that we can come in, make an impact and develop. We've got to manage where we want to go, but I feel if you look from the squad from 18 months ago to 12 months ago, I think we're in the strongest position we've been in for a while to be able to really compete in this league. It's a tough league. You need a squad of 24, 25 players that are right at it, pushing each other, but have that quality and robustness that they can go and compete in this league. We're in a really strong position, but the transfer window's not over. We're looking to add more in. But the right person that fits into our group and into our family of players and staff, and really helps us push on, but buys into what we're trying to do and where we want to go.